my life. Warn this little boy, like, don't disrespect me, bro.
Slapping him in his face and standing on his toe. I think Jake Paul got there, looked and thought.
Yeah, I could just going through the motion. He's serious about it, you know, so I liked it.
Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul finally came face to face, and what unfolded wasn't anything close to a routine promotional stare-down. It was raw, chaotic, explosive, and instantly iconic. Joshua wasted zero time asserting dominance. The moment they squared up,
right, can we call that a cut?
Yeah.
chest to chest, AJ shoved Jake Paul with the kind of force that sent a shockwave through the arena. It wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. It was a message delivered without a single word spoken. That shove told Jake Paul, the crowd, and the
It's frightening for the sport. It's not that it's bad, it's frightening. But listen, this isn't boxing as a sport, this is the circus.
entire boxing world exactly who was in control. Jake froze for a second, caught off guard, rattled in a way fans had never seen before. His bravado disappeared, and his reaction exposed the vast divide between being a social media fighter
It's just going through the motion. He's serious about it, you know, so I liked it.
Yeah, like his energy was like very calming throughout the week.
and standing inches away from a real heavyweight killer. Fans online went berserk instantly, flooding social platforms with clips and reactions. Some called the Faceoff chaos. Others said it was a complete circus. But one thing was clear.
But I think this fight's just gone took another toll.
It's absolutely grabbed the public interest now to another level, isn't it?
This is quite simply the biggest fight this country's ever seen.
Across all opinions. That arena felt the electricity of a moment that changed the storyline of this fight overnight. Joshua didn't shout. He didn't flail or look wild. He stood calm, almost too calm, radiating a lethal.
Yeah, man, you know, he's a dumbass, and so it's gonna be apparent on Saturday when he's the one that gets knocked out. I mean, genuinely, fighters always say this, there's the back and forth, but here's, I'm being so honest, man, this guy's easy work.
Kind of composure. His presence alone was suffocating. Jake Paul tried to maintain his posture, but his confidence wavered the moment AJ's energy hit him like a wall. The gap between hype and reality had been exposed so brutally that fans were stunned. Tony.
Yeah, he was wrong. He put his hands on him, and so it was wrong. But you know what? He's saying I'm going to play the villain. You know, being the prop. Then
Bellew was one of the first to react, and he was visibly taken aback by the sheer intensity. He pointed out how the energy inside the building shifted instantly.
How Joshua's shove electrified the atmosphere and sucked all confidence out of Jake Paul.
Bellew
expect that from Chisora. I'm not going to lie, when it happens, I laughed my head off. I absolutely laughed my head off.
I did too.
I thought it was quite poetic. I thought what happened was quite funny. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't something that, like, I had someone, Nigel, saying I thought he glassed him. I can understand by the noise of it. Things happen fast in the heat of a moment. I get it. But afterwards,
stressed that this wasn't showmanship. This was the fight ascending to another level before the opening bell even arrives. Joshua didn't just push Paul, he put him on psychological notice. Jake Paul, for his part, tried to brush off the moment. He forced a confident expression, but fans saw through.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, but like I say, I don't see there's any harm in it. It didn't bring the sport into disrepute in any way. This is the show business world that we live in. There's the fight game and then there's the fight business. And from a business perspective, that's probably just sold another 1 million tickets worldwide to people to watch this fight because they're going to...
Through it instantly. His frustration was clear. His composure cracked. He acknowledged afterward that the face-off felt like a pressure cooker, which only confirmed what viewers had already seen. Joshua had shaken him to the core. Johnny Nelson analyzed the shove from a tactical perspective. He called it aggressive, yes, but calculated. He emphasized that Joshua wasn't trying to start a brawl. He was establishing dominance, controlling the space, controlling the moment, and controlling Jake Paul mentally.
So it's a very dangerous night's work, and AJ will be, you know, people say, oh, will he take it easy on it? AJ will be AJ. He don't mess around, he don't play with his food. He'll be going in there looking to take him out as soon as possible.
Nelson made it clear. AJ had already won the first psychological battle, and the fight hadn't even begun. Paul Smith reacted in pure disbelief, laughing at how surreal the face-off looked. Even someone who has seen thousands of face-offs couldn't hide his surprise. Joshua somehow turned a promotional moment into a dramatic spectacle that felt like a heavyweight declaration of war. Fans online echoed that sentiment, erupting with memes, shock, and non-stop commentary. Duke McKenzie took a more serious angle.
I'm not saying he can't fight, I'm not saying he's rubbish, I'm not saying he's useless, but we will see how good he is. And if I'm right in what I'm saying, he'll quit.
Calling the moment strictly business. To him, the shove was less drama and more strategy, a way of selling the fight while simultaneously asserting dominance. He highlighted how the event instantly became headline material, not because of theatrics, but because Joshua's presence alone made the moment unforgettable. Fans felt something real, something dangerous, something unpredictable. Eddie Hearn's reaction was full of respect. He emphasized that Joshua isn't built like...
Not to the level of Anthony Joshua or even myself, but he can punch. So, you know, you're going to have to be in combat mode. You're going to have to have been training
the fighters Jake Paul has faced before. AJ carries a different kind of danger, a different kind of experience, a different level of violence. Hearn stressed that the shove wasn't random, it was a warning. Joshua takes no prisoners, and Jake Paul just got his first taste of that reality. Tom Little, watching the moment unfold, expressed cautious intrigue. He gave Jake Paul credit for what he's accomplished, but he couldn't ignore the massive difference between looking sharp in a gym and standing across from a seasoned heavyweight monster like Joshua. The face-off made that contrast painfully clear.
Premeditated, then it's not uncharacteristic. At the time, you're thinking it's like reaction. So no, it's not, because he premeditates everything, and it was funny.
Every shove, every stare, every calm breath Joshua took reminded fans and experts that Jake Paul was playing with fire. Tony Bellew doubled down on his perspective later, pointing out that while Jake Paul can punch, he simply isn't in the same universe as Joshua. The face-off exposed that reality brutally. Fans saw Jake's discomfort. Analysts saw the mental gap. And Bellew saw a fighter stepping into danger his experience can't prepare him for. David Coldwell studied the shove closely and immediately noticed the intention behind it. He called the moment a psychological takedown. Nothing AJ did was emotional.
I don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul lightly any way, shape or form, and it'd be so easy to hit. You're talking about a trained athlete against...
Every move was measured. Every gesture was deliberate. Jake Paul looked exposed and overwhelmed, clearly feeling the difference between influencer boxing and heavyweight warfare. Social media erupted once again when slow-motion clips of Jake's reaction spread online, making it painfully obvious just how stunned he was. Fans turned the moment into memes, jokes, reaction videos. Yet underneath the humor was a genuine recognition that Jake Paul had stepped into territory he might not be ready for. Duke McKenzie later added that the shove peeled back a layer Jake Paul had been hiding behind. All the social media confidence, all the trash talk, all the bravado melted away under the weight of real heavyweight energy. Joshua's experience, power, and composure overshadowed Jake's skill set entirely. Ben Davison also weighed in, stressing the genuine danger Jake Paul faces on fight night.
Jake Paul have a...
Dangerous in the sense of for the health of Jake, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, like this is a sport that we love, and I think we need to protect that. And you know, he's one of the most dangerous guys in the world to go step in a ring with. Like, you saw that with Ngannou, who was a seasoned, you know, one of the most durable men on the planet in one of the toughest sports in combat sport.
To him, the shove wasn't just heat. It was a live demonstration of who holds the power. AJ wasn't being emotional or reckless. He was asserting psychological control. Davison pointed out how the crowd reacted, not with laughter, but with stunned awe. They saw the gulf between the fighters, and social media instantly reflected that realization. Fans debated endlessly, but one theme kept surfacing. Jake Paul looked fragile. and that fragility was magnified in front of millions. Davison highlighted something crucial. Jake Paul might be dangerous in influencer boxing, but against a real heavyweight champion with knockout power and elite pedigree, his risks multiply exponentially. The shove wasn't violent, it was calculated dominance. Spencer Oliver reacted with a tone that bordered on concern. He pointed to Joshua's dismantling of Ngannou as a reminder of what real heavyweight
helped Jake Paul. That's all I can say. We saw that what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. He went out there and iced him in a couple of rounds. A guy coming from a different discipline. Well, this kid's coming from another level. You know, white collar boxing in 2018, gone through the mill, and the only boxer really that he's actually boxed, a legitimate boxer, he got beat by, and that was in Tommy Fury.
Power looks like. He emphasized that Jake Paul has never and will never face anything of this magnitude unless he truly steps into the ring with AJ. The face-off alone showed that Joshua controls the narrative. Jake Paul spent the entire moment trying not to crumble. Carl Frampton delivered perhaps the most brutal take. He said plainly that Joshua could end Jake Paul in a single round. He stressed that the shove wasn't hype, it was a warning, a preview of the storm coming. Clips of the shove went viral, and fans immediately recognized what Frampton was talking about. Joshua wasn't there to entertain. He was there to assert absolute dominance. As the dust settled, analysts, fans, and fighters all echoed the same sentiment. Anthony Joshua has already taken control of this fight. The mental battle is over. The psychological war is won.
Do you think it doesn't harm
AJ? I don't think it does harm.
Why?
Because I just think he goes in, if it's a real fight, he'd go and blow him away in a round. That's the end.
What if he doesn't do him in a round?
Jake Paul has been pushed, examined, and exposed before the first punch is even thrown. Now the world waits for December 19th, and the conversation isn't about if Joshua wins, it's about how he wins. Will it be a devastating knockout, a ruthless technical beating, a full-fight psychological dismantling? One thing is certain, after that face-off, the stakes are higher than ever. The tension is thicker, and the world is watching closely. Stay locked in. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because if the face-off looked like this, fight night will be something the world will never forget.